Welcome back to the solo leveling experience. Last time, we witnessed the birth of Sung Drip Woo. We watched him catch his first few bodies, including some dude named Hwang Dong-suk, who happens to be the older brother of an S-rank hunter named Hwang Dong-soo. So now this guy's on a quest for vengeance and wants to kill Sung Jin-woo. But we ain't even got time to worry about that right now, because we're about to get into possibly the darkest arc in solo leveling. Throughout the manhwa, we've seen Sung Jin-woo slowly descend into darkness, but this is the arc where he just dives right in the bitch. Like, my man is in the sunken place, but for Black Air Force energy. So with that, let's continue with the story and get into the prisoner dungeon arc. So this arc actually begins with Mr. Song from the Double Dungeon arc. We begin with him training his pupil, and we find out, though he's only a C-rank hunter, he's training an S-rank hunter. Now, the S-rank hunter isn't revealed yet, but she is candidate for best girl in this manhwa. Now that I think about it, she doesn't really have much competition. I feel like you guys will agree once you see her in action, but we'll get to that. Anyway, their training is cut short because Song gets called for a dungeon raid. So Mr. Song dips, but on his way to the dungeon, he runs into Sung Jin-woo. Now you gotta remember, Sung Jin-woo changed a lot since that double dungeon, bro. We talked about it already. He is brolic as shit, got way taller. Like, there's even a panel where Mr. Song mentally compares younger Sung Jin-woo with older Sung Jin-woo. And it brings me back to the question of, why isn't anyone questioning this more, bro? Like, the most you get is, wow, you changed a lot, bro. No, he didn't just change a lot. He grew a whole foot. Like, look at my nigga. He's not the same person anymore, fam. But I guess in a world filled with superpowered humans, this is normal or close to normal. I don't know. Anyway, Mr. Song is genuinely very happy to see Sung Jin-woo, and Sung Jin-woo's also pretty hyped to see his boy Mr. Song. Like, I feel like even though Mr. Song left Jin-woo in that dungeon, Jin-woo knows that Song was so down to just sit there and take the L for everybody else, you know? So after Mr. Song expresses how happy he is to see his boy, they run into the rest of the survivors of the double dungeon, including bitch-ass Mr. Kim. It's funny too, because Mr. Kim is so bitch-made he can't even look at the guys, fam. Like, he immediately looks away because he knows he's pussy. But out of the survivors, this also includes Joo-hee. So Joo-hee sees Jin-woo and she's like, oh my god, I thought you died. Your leg, it's back. How the fuck did this all happen? But before they can get into it, the focus of this arc steps in. A bunch of prisoners being led by a Mr. Kang Tai-shik, or Kang Tae-shik. I'm not sure. Once again, I am so sorry for mispronouncing these names. I am trying my best here. If I'm saying it wrong, I am completely open to you guys correcting me in the comments. Anyway, it turns out these prisoners, including Tai-shik, who is from the Hunters Association, he's from the surveillance team, I believe, these guys are going to accompany them in the dungeon. Now, Mr. Song is already like, whoa, wait, this is the most sus shit I've ever seen within my career of being a hunter. You're not gonna tell me you're gonna put these goddamn criminals in the same dangerous ass place that we're going to go to. Do you not see my missing arm? But somebody from the Hunters Association is like, nah, bro, it's fine. Like, apparently these guys are probational prisoners and they used to be hunters, so they're allowed to go into dungeons and clear them to take some years off their sentence. Now, I get this, you know, I get that you're giving the prisoners a chance to do better, but people, these guys were put into prison for what I hope is a good reason. If you got serial killers, terrorists, and the like out here in prison, don't put them back in the dungeons where they could possibly kill other hunters. Like, we just came back from an arc where hunters were out here killing other hunters in dungeons. Why are we going back here? You know, this is a mistake waiting to happen. And Sung Jin-woo sees this too. But since Kang Tae-shik is from the Hunters Association, there's not really much they can do, so they just kind of accept it. With that, they prepare to go into the dungeon, but before all that, something really nice happens. Kang Tae-shik asks Mr. Song who's down to lead the squad, and Mr. Song is down, but he immediately goes back to the double dungeon and he's like, I definitely led most of these guys before, and last time I did that, it did not turn out good for most of us. So before he accepts, he first apologizes to Sung Jin-woo formally for leaving him behind and thanking him for saving all of them. And I was like, you see, y'all were talking shit about this boy Sung Jin-woo from like chapter 1, and we have one of our first characters over here standing up for what's right and thanking Sung Jin-woo for how he clutched the situation. And the reason why I respect it so much is because I don't even think it was needed. Like, I feel like Sung Jin-woo, in a sense, already kind of forgave him or didn't even hold it against him because he was like, I told you to leave, you know? I respect him for bringing it up and taking that L and letting people know, hey, I fucked up. My bad. This man even asked Mr. Kim if it's okay for him to lead. Bruh, you ain't have to do that. fuck Mr. Kim, but you still asked, which is very commendable. So yeah, Mr. Song is a dope ass dude. Like, I feel like with this reread, I'm respecting him more now, and we haven't even gotten started to all the cool shit that he's gonna do in this arc. Like, I feel like, yes, Sung Jin-woo is the main character, don't get me wrong, but this arc focuses a lot on Mr. Song, and I'm here for it. I like his little character growth. You know, we don't get a lot of it with these other characters in Solo Leveling, so when you do get it, it's lit. So everybody enters the dungeon, they start fighting the monsters and shit, and immediately they notice these prisoners are crazy, bro. And Sung Jin-woo peeps game too. He's like, I'm gonna keep my dagger close, keep the blicky on me, just in case some prisoner wanna act crazy. The dungeon goes on that they go into a crossroad, so the team splits up. There is Kang Tae-shik with the prisoners, they go into one area. Mr. Kim and another survivor from the dungeon, from the double dungeon, goes through another area. And Sung Jin-woo, Joo-hee, and Mr. Song, they go to another area because Sung Jin-woo knows that that's the way where the boss is. Now, this is where shit starts to get sus. I feel like you were watching this and thinking, all right, this seems pretty normal so far. I mean, the prisoners, I'm not really down for that, but things seem okay so far, you know, but this is where shit starts to really get sus. Now, don't get me wrong, Kang Tae-shik was already an odd person at best when he first entered, but this man starts talking some weird shit. Like, he's like, hey, y'all probably kill a lot of kids, right? Like, how would y'all feel about killing kids? Why are you asking this? We're fighting goblins, bro. And these prisoners, being crazy, are like, we're down to kill some kids, blah, blah, blah. So Mr. Kang is like, all right, this is how this is gonna go. When we leave this dungeon, I'm gonna report that 100 goblins killed y'all niggas. And after that, we switch to Mr. Kim's team. But people, I know y'all can tell with the look on this man's face, y'all know this dude is up to no good. He's about to kill all these fucking prisoners, bro. And don't worry, we're gonna get into the reason why soon. So on Mr. Kim's end, he pauses as he's slaying a bunch of goblins and he's like, I really am a pussy. The moment I see Sung Jin-woo, I'm going to bow my head and apologize the correct way because I owe him that much. And I felt good because I was like, hey, look at you, Mr. Kim, growing from your mistakes. But then I paused and I was like, hold on, did I just say that he was growing? Is he getting character growth as a side character who is not important at all? Yeah, he's probably gonna die. That's death written right there. Slap the tombstone on his grave, it's over for my boy. So while Mr. Kim is having this whole revelation, he turns to the room where Kang Tae-shik and all the prisoners were, and he sees this man in the midst of killing the last person. Bruh, talk about the worst kind of timing. Like, this is just sad. So obviously Mr. Kim is like, what are you doing? But we didn't even get to see what happens next because we immediately switch to Sung Jin-woo reacting to Mr. Kim's scream of terror. So the Drip Woo squad runs to the scream and they see Kang Tae-shik with all the dead prisoners and a dying Mr. Kim. Joo-hee tries to heal him, but it's already too late, bro. My man's whole forearm is already through death's door. And this part actually hits Drip Woo because he's like, don't die. I want you to stay alive so I can hate you more. I don't think we need to defend Sung Jin-woo in this. Like, Sung Jin-woo's grudge with Mr. Kim is completely valid. So Mr. Kim, with his last breath, apologizes to Sung Jin-woo. And now they got this crazy-ass Kang Tae-shik nigga to worry about. Now, Sung Jin-woo's already down to fight this guy, but Mr. Song and Joo-hee do not know that outside of his different looks, he's also way stronger now. So Song decides to fight this guy by himself. And the reason why this is so fucking dope is because this is a losing battle. This is an uphill battle for Mr. Song. And he knows this entering it. The reason why is because Kang Tae-shik is an assassin class hunter, while Mr. Song is a mage. Mages are powerful, but they need time to cast their magic. Assassins are their kryptonite because they're fast as fuck and they deal heavy damage. So to add an extra buffer, Mr. Song asks Joo-hee to cast a power buff on him, and they go at it. And yes, though Kang Tae-shik does body this man, all the respect to Mr. Song because he really put that work in. There's even a point where he tricked him into letting his guard down and cast some crazy ass inferno pillar, but unfortunately that didn't work. So when all hope seems lost, Kang Tae-shik raises his dagger ready to kill this man, and then our boy, Sung Drip Woo steps in, fam. Now already from Sung Jin-woo blocking Kang Tae-shik's attack, everybody in the room knows this is weird. You're an E-rank hunter. How are you blocking a B-rank assassin's attack? So Kang Tae-shik immediately assumes this guy's a false ranker. And if you don't remember what a false ranker is, they're basically hunters who hide their true power for whatever reason when they go into dungeons, mostly to kill people. But Sung Jin-woo doesn't give a fuck. He's like, what the fuck are you, why do you gotta kill people? What is your problem? And this is where Mr. Kang reveals that some random ass dude from outside the dungeon paid him to kill all these prisoners. One of them apparently sexually assaulted his daughter. So the guy paid him to get revenge by killing the person responsible. But this nigga, Mr. Kang, swindled the man and said, bruh, I can't just kill one of them. I gotta kill everybody going into that dungeon with me, so I'ma need more money. But on the real, Mr. Kang doesn't even give a fuck about the money. He just likes killing people. Like, he gets a hard-on for it. Something's wrong with him. So after finding that out, Sung Jin-woo's like, I'm about to take you out. And they go off, bro. And once again, we are blessed with another manhwa Sakuga moment. Like, this fight looks so cool. The artist for solo leveling, god damn. Like, I don't know what kind of shit they're on when they're making these action panels. And the part that I respect, though a lot of fights amount to like zipping and zapping around the room with slashes and shit, so far, they all still feel unique. And now that we're getting into more fights where he's fighting other hunters like him, though it's kind of sad because why are they fighting each other? They should be fighting these beasts. It's also really cool because he's fighting people more on his level. This fight is definitely the best fight in the manhwa so far. However, there's another fight that comes up really soon that you guys are going to love if you haven't already seen it. People who already read solo leveling, you guys know exactly what I am talking about. Also, I feel like this is a nice way to power scale Sung Jin-woo because now that he's facing a B rank assassin, this means that he's definitely at B rank level. And let me know how y'all feel about this. I don't know, it kind of gave me the feel of him rushing through in-game content to get to the post-game content in like a video game or some shit. I was worried that he was scaling up so high so quickly. Like, he's gone from E rank in chapter 1 to being a B rank now in only 30 plus chapters. Like, I don't know. Let me know how you felt about it. Do you think his growth should have been a little bit slower? Should he be a B rank right now? What rank would you put him at if you did have control in this part of the story? Let me know. Anyway, while these guys are fighting, Joo-hee and Mr. Song are shook, bro, for good reason. But the fight gets so heated that the system kicks in, fam. Just like with Hwang Dun-suk, it's like, hey bro, we see you're having a problem. We're gonna need you to kill this guy. So the fight continues and now Sung Jin-woo is outspeeding Mr. Kang. And Mr. Kang is worried, so he's like, all right, I'm gonna show you why they call me an assassin. And he uses a skill called camouflage. This makes him completely invisible and untrackable, even to Sung Jin-woo. So he gets a good licking. You know, Sung Jin-woo's a little bit worried, but don't forget, Sung Jin-woo still has his perks from his daily quest, so he heals himself. And at this point, Mr. Kang is like, hold up. Okay, now I'm confused. You're an assassin class, from what I can tell, but you can heal? And you're faster than me? And you're apparently E rank? What is going on? But meanwhile, in Sung Jin-woo's head, something interesting happens. He gets back up, prepared for the smoke, but as he does, he's like, I feel like another emotion just died. Yo, Sung Jin-woo, you good, bro? Like, you want a hug? But this is what I was talking about when I said he just dived into the darkness. Because right after this, we're given a quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process, he does not become a monster. If you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. This is literally Sung Jin-woo right now, gazing into the abyss of darkness. Personality-wise and stat-wise, he's turning into a monster in this universe because he's getting more cold and obscenely strong. So you know what? I feel like I answered my own question because I feel like that's the same reason why they had him become so strong so quickly. His descent into darkness wouldn't be as profound if he wasn't also getting hella strong. And on the flip side, I feel like Mr. Kang is an example of what happens when you do look into the abyss and you do become that monster, because let's not lie here, Mr. Kang is already a monster. Dude killed mad people and was ready to kill more people in cold blood. Anyway, back to the story. Sung Jin-woo, after throwing away another emotion, he goes X game mode and kills Kang Tae-shik. Now, Mr. Song and Joo-hee are pretty scared, but they know not to fuck with Sung Jin-woo right now. So Jin-woo's like, all right, you guys go outside, I'm gonna go take care of the boss because there's still a boss here, and then we can talk about this later. They leave, but before he leaves, he actually gets the camouflage skill from Kang Tae-shik. So I'm guessing after he kills certain individuals, he gets a skill of theirs. Then as he's going to the boss, he finds one of the prisoners who was actually still alive during that whole situation. But now he knows why he was sent to prison. So he grabs this guy, and don't get me wrong, this guy is an asshole for what he did. He deserves all the pain that's coming to him. But that does not take away from how disturbing and dark this scene is. This man, Sung Drip-woo, feeds the prisoner to the goblins. Now, the reason why this is more dark than it seems is because Sung Jin-woo was told to kill Kang Tae-shik by the system. He wasn't told to kill the prisoner. He did it of his own accord. Once again, did he deserve it? Sure. But Sung Jin-woo, you just murdered somebody in cold blood, my nigga. That's a big step from where we saw Sung Jin-woo back in chapter 1. That's all I'm saying. So he leaves the dungeon and reunites with Joo-hee and Mr. Song, but before they can leave, they are met by Woo Jin-cho from the Hunters Association. Now, if you don't remember, Woo Jin-cho is already a problem. Like, the guy's A rank at least. And he also knows about the whole double dungeon thing and about the whole Hwang Dun-suk murder. So he thinks Sung Jin-woo is sus as all fuck. And at this moment, Sung Jin-woo knows he's gonna have to tell somebody about this whole player status thing. So he's getting ready to admit that he killed Kang Tae-shik, but before he does, does, Mr. Song is like, nah, bro, it was me. And this healer over here, Joo-hee, she's the one that helped me. And though it's kind of sus because even under the B ranks, Mr. Kang was a big problem. But he lets it go because this guy was a fucking murderer, and I'm pretty sure Woo Jin-chul knew about that. But before they depart, he goes to Sung Jin-woo and is like, hey man, just letting you know, I know about all the sus shit you've been involved in. But fair warning, the guy you killed in the last dungeon, Hwang Dong-suk, yeah, his younger brother is Hwang Dong-soo, the famous S-rank hunter from America. I don't think I gotta tell you how mad he is about you killing his bro. So I'd lay low because this guy's after your neck, dead ass. So now, Sung Jin-woo is aware that an S-rank hunter is after his life. Meaning, like I said at the end of that last soul leveling experience video, now Sung Jin-woo has something that he has to work towards. And I'm not gonna hold you, when I first read this, I was a little bit scared because I was like, oh shit, how is he gonna get to S rank in only 2 months? But thinking about it now, he got to B rank at an obscene amount of time. I don't think S rank is gonna be that hard. But with dungeon done, Joo-hee and Drip Woo go to meet up somewhere. Cause if you don't remember, this girl was the original love interest, you know, so she might want that date now, you know what I mean? But nah, she calls him over because she's like, bro, this hunting shit is too much for little old me. I am retiring. And she even gives Sung Jin-woo back the Essence Stone that he gave to her. So I'm guessing that means no more date with these two. She does say, you know, that she's going to Busan and that if he's ever in the area, they can go out for lunch and shit. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, don't get your hopes up. Joo-hee pretty much leaves the plot after this. We see her once or twice going forward, but Joo-hee is now gone. She does not matter anymore. And with that, we move to the next arc, which for me is actually a combination of 2 arcs because one arc is deadass only like 2 chapters, while another arc is a little bit longer and way more important, and it gets into how Sung Jin-woo gets reborn as the Black Air Force Monarch. But we're gonna get into that in the next soul leveling experience video. For now, let me know in the comments how you felt about this arc. Do you agree with me and feel like this is one of the darkest arcs in soul leveling, possibly the darkest? Or do you feel like it was just another stepping stone for Sung Jin-woo? With that, thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to the patrons, appreciate you guys for everything you give each month. And shout out to my A-rank patrons, the guys who give a whopping $10 each month. Nello Lobo, George McCall, Dylan Mason, Blake Roberts, Vamp Cinder, Third Dynasty, Broken Rosary, Daniel Gonzalez, Victor Garcia, Mustard Gas, Zach Haji, Curtis Clarkson, Jody Boy, Jakari Scott, and Sugi. Appreciate all of you guys so much for the extra help. You guys have no idea how much this helps the channel, for real. And don't forget, if you cannot help out with your funds, you just being here already means so much, so thank you. With all that being said, be easy, stay lit, stay healthy out there, Black Lives Matter, and don't forget, you can do whatever the hell you put your mind to. All it takes is practice and time. Peace out, y'all.